Hello, everyone. How's it going? I'm Ahmed Rashad. I'm the founder of Perle. And Perle is we're building the sovereign data layer for AI. For AI models to work, you basically need three things. You need researchers, you need compute, and you need good data. If you don't have researchers and compute, you're not welcome to the table. What sets you apart from everyone else is, do you have good data or not? I've seen this problem over and over again. I started building AI apps at Amazon in 2017, and the biggest problem I had was I didn't have enough data. I didn't have good data. And then I joined Scale AI, and I'll tell you about that story in a little bit. But for now, let me tell you about what we're building at Perle. For good data, for models to do good, you need good data. Good data is a few things. You need a few things to get good data. One, you need it to be diverse, you need it to be unique, and you need it to be trustworthy. If you don't know where the data is coming from and you have a problem, you cannot trace back the error, and the model will continue to be, well, crap. Interesting tidbit, all the LLMs that we use every day are trained on the entire corpus of data of the internet. 80% of that data is generated by bots. So they all have the same vulnerabilities, the same problems. What sets them apart is actually post-training and what type of specialized data they use. And this is where Perle comes in. So when I was at Amazon and I built my own data pipelines, those actually did really well. And next thing you know, I get a call from the board at Scale AI. They're telling me about this small port cove theirs that has 9 months of runway. One of the co-founders just left and the other one is 19. And they're like, hey, why don't you come build this same stuff you built at Amazon with us? But there are a few caveats, and they told me about the 9 month and the founder leaving and all of that. And of course, the only logical answer was, hell yeah, let's do it. And I built it up, took it from 90 million valuation to 29 billion. We secured a lot of contracts. We reached almost 2 billion in revenue, including a $300 million Department of Defense contract. The reason we got the Department of Defense contract was because we were able to provide secure, unique, safe, traceable, auditable data. And then the company, of course, got 50% of it, got acquired by Meta. Not complaining about that. But what we're doing now is the next evolution, the next iteration of it. So I hired the team. I started with the team and got a team of really, really heavy hitters from both Web 2 and Web 3. I brought a lot of people that I worked with at scale. We brought people from Meta, from Amazon, from Mila, and so on and so forth. And it's a very strong team. I'll tell you this: we're a team of 13 people, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a bit. So the question is not what models can do, but what can they do depends on what they're trained on. So if you go and ask Claude or ChatGPT or whatever, or Manus, and you go ask it simple legal advice, it'll give you the answer, it'll be happy and jolly. But you ask it a complex legal question, and you'll find that the header and the footer are, I'm not a lawyer. And most likely, it's going to give you wrong advice, 20% of time at least, if it's a complex legal issue. Now, a company comes in and takes that model, trains it specifically on legal, and that, instead of 80% right, it becomes 98% right. Now it's usable. Because at 80% right, in cases like legal, medical, defense, that is not acceptable. And think about it. This is with just chatbots. A chatbot can make a mistake and you can correct it and it can correct itself. But when you're operating in the real world, where there are robots and autonomous vehicles and defense activities going on, a mistake literally costs lives. 98 is not good enough. 80% is not acceptable. 98 is not good enough. So training on good data is no longer an option. You have to train on good data. The problem with the current incumbents is that they were designed, and I designed the biggest one of them. We designed them for volume. We designed them for volume and being able to ramp up the volume very quickly. The problem is that's in direct conflict with the super high quality and traceability and auditability that customers need today. So we took a whiteboard, redesigned the whole thing, focused it on quality, auditability, traceability, and big surprise, cost, speed, volume, all of those things actually ended up in a better position than the first place. The real problem with the market, the real threats are poison training data, which happens a lot. An example from a past life, we actually had malicious actors who would on purpose sabotage the data And it was an organized thing. They tried to delay the launch of robo taxis you see in San Francisco, right? And it was done on purpose. They were poisoning the data. The other thing is synthetic contamination. So people love synthetic data. It has its time, use, and place. You need it to, maybe you can use it to do a POC to see how things are going, test it out. But if you're training solely on synthetic data, you can only resolve synthetic problems. Synthetic data, even the edge cases it produces, are limited with what that synthetic data model has been trained on. You need real world data from real people. And then finally, the opaque supply chain. So every incumbent operates in a black box. You send them data, they send it back to you. You don't know what happened. Something goes wrong, impossible to trace. So these are the three problems. So how do we solve this? So we need to be able to audit end to end. We need to involve humans way, way, way more. And we need to have a clear audit trail across every piece of data and on the credentials of every human. So what does the market look like? I'm sure a lot of you have heard about, let's take a show of hands. How many of you know one, two, or three of the big players in the data market? Scale, Mercor, or someone else. They're big players, right? The market is actually significantly larger than all of these players put together. And why is it larger than all of these big players put together? Because the problem hasn't been solved yet. The quality, the traceability problems has not been solved yet. So the actual market opportunity is based on our very, very, very conservative projections, because we didn't include government in that as well, is that it's a $50 billion market by 2030. That's in 4 years. It's growing roughly 25% every year. And in some labs, that's aggregate. In some labs, I kid you not, their budgets are 10xing every year for the last 4 years. So what we're doing is we're building the sovereign layer, the sovereign data layer for AI. What that means is that they are experts. They are expert humans, not random people off the street. It is verified with a lot of tech and a lot of other humans, and everything's on chain, so no one can corrupt it, right? If we have a problem, we can trace it back to which buckets of data, we can trace it back to which individuals, we can extract that out of the pipeline and avoid poisoning, avoid all of those things, avoid all that malicious activity. And customers are willing to pay a premium for that. So for us, the blockchain is, we're not Web 2 people, we're not Web 3 people, we're not AI people. We're just solving this problem. And part of our product offering that allows this to happen is that we have this on the chain, right? It's way cheaper, it's way faster, it's way easier, and it cannot be corrupted. So what we do is we actually think very purposefully about every task that we get. We don't just take the task and throw it to the nearest human. We actually think about the task, who's the best human to do it. We give them the right training, the right tools, and the right incentives. And we break down each task into multiple tasks so that because one task might have multiple components. If you're looking through medical records, someone might, maybe you just need to read through, and then you need an admin to go through it. And maybe you need a nurse can do part of it. And the doctor, which is the most restricted resource, needs only to do doctor stuff. Hospitals do it all the time, right? That's why they have nurses and PAs and admins and so on and so forth. So why not do that in data? The second thing, of course, what we're doing is auditability and provenance. And of course, it's designed for enterprise grade high stakes, because our customers, they cannot afford mistakes. They cannot afford 98% quality. They cannot afford 99% quality. You do that, people die. It's not an option. So some people might not agree, and some people actually brought this up several times. Oh, I just got to train the model better. It's like, okay, you're going to train the model. You're going to try different weights. You're going to try different things. There's a very, very, very low cap on how well you can do it if your data is crap. Good data means good models. Bad data, bad decisions. Bad decisions, mistakes today cost too much. So whenever we talk about quality and customers ask us what quality can you guarantee, we actually don't think about it that way. We assume that quality is 100% anyways, and the only quality metric that we measure is, did every person touching every piece of data get it right the first time or not? If they didn't get it right, we take that error, we root the root cause, and we solve it. And we make sure it never happens again. Because what needs to go to the customer has always to be 100%. So, what's happening? What are the results and the outcome from all of this? So we launched our season one, and we got 200,000 signups in day one. We hit 1.7 ish, a little over 1.7 million tasks completed. Sorry, this number is actually wrong. It's not 333 million. It's actually over. It's actually over a billion points earned. And Q4 alone, we launched our product in very late Q3, like the last few days of Q3, and we got $6.1 million in revenue in Q4 alone, and we're on track to double that this quarter as well. So, real people, real problems, real money, real revenue. People want to pay for this. Blockchain is part of the solution. It allows us to do this way cheaper than anyone else, way faster, and with capabilities that, frankly, no one else can offer. So, season one is now live. Please, the code, the QR code, feel free to sign up, be part of the community. You can see some of the tasks. The tasks depend on your skill level and your capability. So let's say if you're a doctor, you're not going to see legal cases, right? And so on. And feel free. I'm going to hold there for a second in case people want to take a picture of the QR code. Season one is now live, and season two is launching soon. There are a lot of tasks. Some of them are fun. All of them are very useful and very, very important for our customers. So please help us shape that for tomorrow. And just to close it off, we are the sovereign layer for data for AI, and it's human verified, expert validated, and on-chain auditable. This is, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is the future of data, and this is how we're going to build proper AI in the future. Thank you.